Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we're going to be talking about building your own Magic Clue Edition. After the Ravnica Clue Edition came out, there's been some pretty clear issues with it, especially around the way it does like the booster packs and everything like that. When you get it, you've got 8 jumpstart style booster packs. However, each of those can be a double up. I saw someone who opened all 8 of them and 4 of them were from the same guild, which is not great as a product. Overall, it's just like essentially going and buying 8 jumpstart packs and then being like, hey, let's hope we get some, different things, except for the actual jumpstart packs had a wider variety. There's only 20 different jumpstart essential things that can be within the Ravnica Clue. So getting a double up feels even worse. Like it's more likely, but it feels worse because, you could get, 8 of the same guild if you were really, really unlucky. So today I wanted to talk about building your own Magic Clue Edition. Keep in mind, this is not going to be necessarily, a Ravnica one, because I think this set could potentially work anywhere, really, if you wanted to. There's lots of really cool things we could do with it. I'm going to talk about an LCI one, so Lost Caverns of Ixalan, but you could essentially build it on any plane you wanted. You could build it without being on a plane, essentially. You could build it anywhere. Like, if you wanted to go grab the 8 the funniest freaking characters that you can easily add that in there. But before we get into that, we have a quick advertisement. Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Now, I could sit here for a minute and a half and I could say, hey, Raid Shadow Legends changed my life. All of a sudden I saw, God, and, all the women wanted to be with me, all the men wanted to be me, or, all those kinds of things. But you guys aren't going to believe that. You're not going to, go download the game because of that. You should be listening instead to what I'm going to say. Honestly, from the heart, is that I enjoy this game. I have been playing this game for over a month now, and the graphics drawed me in to start with, and honestly, being able to customize my characters is amazing. The amount of different characters is just really great. And yeah, sure, the characters look a little bit generic, but you still fall in love with them because, they've got really great graphics. They've got personality as well. There's lots of things for you to be able to work towards, lots of things for you to be able to, build your team towards, stuff to challenge you, whether it's PvE content, PvP content, or just relatively wanting to build up your own roster in the way that you want to. There is just a lot of really great stuff about this game. So head on down to the description, download the game, or just scan the QR code on the screen. You're going to get a whole bunch of goodies. You're going to get, some relatively great characters once you hit level 25 and stuff. There's lots of really great stuff in there overall, so check it out. Alrighty, that was my first sponsor for this channel, so thank you if you guys go and support me for it. So first step number 0, this is grabbing yourself some supplies. These are the things you're going to roughly want if you want to be able to replay this. You don't necessarily need to replay it, but this is something that you could easily just do as a one-off thing, or it's something that you could set up to kind of, bring out every once in a while. Who knows? Whatever you want. So things that you'll need a box to be able to house it all, just to make it easier. You need like 9 resealable booster box things, or booster packs. You can get small deck boxes like these ones. You just Google small deck boxes or something like that, or resealable booster packs, and you're going to be able to find it. A small envelope to be able to house the solution, so whoever was murdered where, and whoever murdered who. You want something like that. Some small notepads for each player, or you could just do it up on Google and then print them out, which is probably going to be better, especially if you want to be able to change it up every time. And then the most difficult thing to find is 1 to 3 friends. So step number 1 is creating the perfect murder suspects. First step is going to be creating your evidence. Now, keep in mind that, again, these can be any cards from anywhere. The ones in the actual Ravnica Clue are, 6 characters that are all Clue characters that are essentially turned into magic characters, but you could choose anything. And then you need 5 murder weapons. They don't necessarily even need to be, weapons. If you want to have someone's murder weapon be Kaya or something like that, or they've got Gortash, or there's lots of different things that you could potentially use here. There's lots of different characters you could potentially chuck in there as murder weapons, or just choose weapons is probably the better idea, just to make it a bit easier. And then 10 different lands or scenes, or essentially places that the murder could have happened. You could just essentially design that as like planes. That would be actually be really cool. So like have one card for each plane or something like that. There could be, there's limitless possibilities. They can be chosen from any cards. Realistically, it makes no difference who they are, where they are, what the weapon are, or anything like that. You could do this from your bulk that you've got at the moment, or you could, look out for some really fancy stuff and like, go buy singles for it. Whatever you like. So I've got some examples here. Maybe you want the murder suspects or the people who potentially committed the murder to be any of the planeswalkers, the initial 5 planeswalkers. I added Elspeth in here because there's only 5 initial planeswalkers, but, anyone. It could be anyone. You could do, just some random characters. This is Ravnica Clue. It's actual Ravnica characters there. You've got Aurelia, you've got Levaz, you've got, I can't pronounce his name and I apologize because last time, that's the only thing someone's ever corrected me on the pronunciation of, which is hilarious. But Ravnica Remastered just came out. You've got a whole bunch of different characters from there you could potentially choose. As for weapons, maybe you want to do Lord of the Rings weapons. Maybe the murder's taken place in Lord of the Rings and your suspects are all different Lord of the Rings characters and the weapons are like, different Lord of the Rings characters or like, you've got Andoril, you've got Galamdring, you've got lots of different choices there. And then as for the places, maybe, choose a cycle of lands. So these are the surveil lands, or as I said, maybe it's going to be, maybe the different, maybe the battles, maybe you choose the battles and like use the like invasion of Ikoria to represent the planes and stuff, and like maybe the murder took place on Ikoria, maybe it took place on Ravnica or something like that. There's lots of different things you could potentially do for that as well. So this is my example. So our suspects here are all characters from LCI. So I'm essentially building Ixalan as Ixalan Clue Edition. So these are all 6 different suspects. So we don't know which one of them did it. We don't know why they did it or anything like that, or what weapon they did. So these are the different suspects. Any one of them could have been the murderer. We've got these as our different weapons. Maybe they murdered them with a diamond pickaxe. Maybe it was Tarian's soul cleaver. There's lots of different things. There's lots of different named weapons as equipment that you could use. It doesn't necessarily need to be equipment. Maybe they killed them with like, a caged sun or something. Maybe that's what you could do. You could do a Warhammer 40K Warhammer 40K Clue Edition. So you take all the different characters from Warhammer 40K, then you take some of the weapons and stuff like that. Who knows? There's lots of cool stuff you could do there. And then finally, the locations. If we're doing an LCI one, maybe they got murdered in a cave, and we don't know which cave it was in, because there was at least 10 caves. I'm pretty sure I'm missing like the blue cave here at least. But there's lots of different caves that this could have potentially taken place in. Who knows? Who knows where the murder took place? That's what we have to try and figure out. So step 2. So this is split into 2A and 2B. You need to choose one of them. So we need to essentially build people's decks here. So the first one you could do is get 2 times Jumpstart style packs. That's essentially what was in the base game, was Jumpstart packs. You could just do that. You could just go buy 8 Jumpstart 2022 packs, Jumpstart base packs, Brothers War packs, Lord of the Rings had Jumpstart packs, etc. You could do that. That's going to be a little bit more expensive. You could potentially, if you're doing a Brothers War clue, you could do the Brothers War as the Jumpstart packs or something like that. All you need is, 2 per player, because that's going to be able to be shuffled together, and that's going to be a 40 card deck, essentially the exact same way it was done in the base, Ravnica Clue. It's an option, or just build your own. I don't know about you guys, but I've got a heap of bulk out there, right? I've got a heap of bulk out there, and you could easily build your own Jumpstart pack style things. Now, this is going to be obviously a little bit more in depth. You're going to need 20 cards, roughly 8 lands, and then from there you can choose other stuff. You just want to make sure that it's stuff that can work together, a variety of different mana values. So typically on the lower end, or lower to mid kind of end, and then from there you kind of take it, and then you're going to put each of those into those things that we bought at the start, which was the Jumpstart or the mini resealable booster packs. We've got to put those into there, and then the aim is that someone can take two of these 20 card packs. Maybe you've got one that's blue, one that's red. You know, you could do two, almost two of each. You could just do two of each color. Why not? Just do two of each color. And then that means that you've also got from there, each person, like each game's not going to be the exact same, because someone's going to get, you know, maybe someone who get a red and a blue, but then there's like a blue and a red still sitting in the box. Who knows? There's lots of different ways you could do this. Essentially, you just want 20 cards in each of them, made up of a mixture, mostly towards creatures. At least, you know, I reckon 7 or 8 creatures is going to be best. This is an example from the Ravnica Clue. But just look at, you know, through the Ravnica Clue jumpstart packs, look through the initial, like these jumpstart packs, and you can get an idea on how they kind of work. And then from there, kind of build it. As I said, I reckon 8 lands, 7 to 8 creatures, maybe an enchantment or an artifact, and then fill out the rest with the instants and sorceries. So you can just aim towards that 20. That's what you roughly want there. All right, and then you need to get your friends together and play. That's probably the hardest step, but again, this one's just a really simple one. You just need to get your friends together. So as to how to play, so this is going to be a little bit more, you know, in depth here. So each person's going to get 2 of the jumpstart or 2 pre-made boosters that you've made, and then they're just going to shuffle them together. So they're most likely going to end it up, and I think that it works best if it's 2 color decks. In the initial Ravnica, they were they were going to end up with a 4 color deck potentially, or at least, you know, potentially 3 color at the least, because of the way they work. They were like 2 color boosters. I think that's a little bit more in depth, especially for, you know, newer players, while this is going to end up being most likely 2 colors where, you know, you've got a red booster back and a blue one, and you've shuffled them together and you've got an Izzet deck. So you're going to separate the evidence out into the suspects, weapons, and rooms, and then shuffle those piles together and shuffle that pile. So shuffle the suspects, shuffle the weapons and rooms separately, and then you need to take one of each. Essentially the exact same way that you play normal Clue. You want 1 evidence of each type, 1 suspect, 1 weapon, and 1 room. And that is who was the murderer, where they killed them, and what weapon they used for them. So that's going to go inside that envelope, or, you know, just to the side of the game, and then you're not going to have that until later, and then that's what we use to guess later. Then you're going to reveal the top 2 cards of the room pile. That's how it works in the Ravnica Clue, so I kept that the same. Reveal the top 2, and then everyone's going to be able to tick those off. So you just go, you know, it wasn't in the hidden nursery, and it wasn't in the hidden whatever the other one was. Essentially, you know, removing 2 rooms, because there's a lot of rooms. There's 10 rooms as opposed to, you know, like only 6 characters and 5 weapons or whatever it is in the Ravnica Clue. So just removing some of those makes it a bit easier. Then all the rest of the cards that are evidence, you're going to shuffle them all together, hand them out, separate them into even piles for each player. If there's uneven numbers, then you reveal those ones for everyone to be able to tick off, and then you tick them off on your notepad. And then the final thing here is just playing the game. Essentially, it's very similar to Magic the Gathering. However, when you deal combat damage to a player, you get to make a suggestion. So you can be like, I suggest that it was, you know, it was Huatali or whatever in the hidden nursery with the diamond pickaxe. And then that person who you know, hit will then look at their cards, and they will be like, okay, here secretly shows you one of them. If they have more than 1 card, they get to choose which one it is. If your creatures deal combat damage to multiple players at the same time, and you make a suggestion, the player who's closest to the left of you will reveal one first. If they can't, then the player to the left of them will do it, etc. So you don't get to, like, you know, make 2 suggestions if you hit 2 people. Instead, it's bum, bum, bum. All right. Then at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't make a suggestion because you didn't deal combat damage to someone or whatever, you can exile cards from your graveyard of total mana value 6 or greater. So essentially collect evidence 6. And if you do, you get to make a suggestion against like a suggestion, and then each player reveals. Very similar to if you didn't hit someone. If you did hit everyone. So then whenever you show an evidence card, so if you made a guess and I said, yes, I do have Garrick in my hand. Sorry, I don't say that. I show you Garrick, then I get to create a treasure token. So essentially that's a way for you to be able to potentially catch up. If you lose the game, then you reveal all your cards. That's if you run out of life. You've got 30 life. If you run out of that 30 life, you show all your evidence to everyone. If you think you know who it is, then at the beginning of your end step, you get to make an accusation. You could be like, I know that it is Garrick in Ravnica with the diamond pickaxe again. And then from there, you get to check the solution. And if it's wrong, then essentially you don't get to make another guess. You need to put those back. Say, oh, I got it wrong. You don't get to guess anymore. However, if you manage to knock everyone else out, you will win the game still. So then it just switches over to a normal Magic the Gathering game for you. If you got them right, then you win. So it's pretty simple, very simple. This is, that's just how the play and everything like that. But the building and stuff like that is the part that I want to kind of talk about here, because I do think that, more people should know that you can just build your own Ravnica Clue if you want to. No one's going to stop you. I don't think Wizards is going to send the Pinkertons after you or anything like that. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and goodbye.